Hey, welcome back to another video. This time again in lockdown, and I don't have a lot else to do, so I thought I'd show you some of the modifications I've been doing on the cars. This time we are putting the factory cruise control onto the Porsche 996. It's actually relatively easy to do. Pretty much all of the function is there. You just have to change the stalk and turn it on in the coding, and away you go. It's a bit more difficult for earlier model 996s, but later one like this from 2004, it's pretty easy. So I'm going to walk you through that, show you how it goes, tell you a little bit about the parts. They were probably slightly harder to find, the wiring and the pins especially, and we'll go from there. Hope you enjoy. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is show you what we've got, the goodies in here. And you can see this is the 4-stalk unit that you're going to need to order if you don't already have cruise control. So I already have the computer. Always a car going past when I want to try and talk. I already have the computer, so I've already got this bottom stalk on the left and just needed the one on the right, but you've got to get this whole unit, and these little tabs on the end you have to order separately. So this actually came with those two, don't know why, but I had to order that one because I didn't have it. Finally, this is the tricky bit. This is an aftermarket harness specifically for this job and for this car. So it's got the right connector on here. Right, there you go, now you can see it. It's got the right connector there. That goes onto the back of the stalk that we bought. And somebody's helpfully already made this up with the right colour wires, labelled it up, and put the correct little pins on the end. If you've ever looked at this, finding these little pins is an absolute nightmare to get the right ones. I'll put the link to this in the description. This is £20 on eBay, so a bargain for the saving the hassle. But basically those little pins, if you can see in the back here, these connectors, those little pins go into this grey connector here, into the back of the instrument cluster. But buying that has really saved me a ton of time. So if you're doing this on I think it's 2002 or 2003 onwards, you've got everything in the cluster. So it's a lot easier, like I said. But if you've got an earlier model, like a 98 up to 2002, something like that, you need to run a wire into the computer, which is buried in there. And if you've got the convertible like this, you've got these explosive roll hoops here, and it's actually in behind there. So you have to go in, take those out, and get inside there to wire it in, and obviously trace the wires, panels off the side of the car, panels off down here, trace the wires all the way through. So it's a lot more effort. I'll put a link in the description to a Pelican Parts. It's a forum, a US forum, but they've done a lovely guide about how to do this. I'm really just borrowing from his work and making a video about it. So first things first, you can see I've already done this, but and again I've been doing some other stuff, so ignore all these panels out the way. You don't need to take these panels out. These panels will be at the sides here. What you've got to do is obviously disconnect the battery so your alarm doesn't go off. Put the key in first, turn the ignition on, turn the ignition off, and leave the key in. That will mean your battery won't, your alarm won't sound every time you disconnect the battery. If you're like me, you've got a trickle charger, make sure that's also disconnected. Make sure you've got something between the terminals here, so there is absolutely no way it can touch. And then go and have a cup of coffee for 15 minutes, because we're going to be playing with the airbag, and you don't want that to go off, and you need to make sure there's no electricity left in the system. So now it's coffee time. Okay, 15 minutes has passed and we're going to get cracking now. We're going to get stuck into taking stuff off. It shouldn't actually take this long, so or that long, sorry. So here we go. So you guys are going to come in here and your dash is going to be all lovely and together, unlike mine. But the first thing you're going to do, just have to pretend because mine's already off, is take the cover off and the instrument cluster out. There's loads of videos online about doing that. And once that is off, like this, magic, here's one I did earlier. There's a couple of bolts just in the side here to take out, and that will release the cluster. And with the cluster released, you can now tilt it forward. So I've already got the grey socket disconnected, but you've got two others, a blue and a green one there, that just need to come off. And they have like a simple mechanism. You lift up the locking latch. Here's one that I've taken this off so I can show you, but this will be latched down here. You press a little tab in and lift this up and it will push the whole plug out of the back, so you can remove that. So this grey one is actually where we're going to pin in the cruise control connector, so I'll show you that a bit later. Okay, with this piece out, I definitely recommend completely disconnecting this and putting it safely to one side. In fact, I'm going to put it in the back here on my helpful shelf, because that piece is expensive. You really don't want to damage that. In fact, this cover as well, wait for the motorbike, that cover there is in the leather clad like this. If you want to buy a new one, about £1,400, so definitely keep those safe and out of the way. And then the first thing we're going to do on the wheel, so now you've got some access in here to get your wires, you need to pop off two little covers that are in here with a little plastic pry tool. Just careful because the material is soft. Those pop out of there, and then in here you've got a Torx bit, but you're going to need like a long reach to get in here. I'd pull this wheel all the way forward, so you've got maximum amount of space to get in there. So if you can see in there's two little pins, and this connector here is pushed into the back. It just pulls off like that, so a gentle pry tool or something in underneath it and you can just lever it off. Now we've done that, we need to also disconnect some other wires in here. So this is the wire for the horn. These need to come out and they need to get fed back through that hole as this wheel comes off. Need to undo this bolt here. Really importantly, don't use, so ideally have an impact gun to take this off, because that'll whip it off without too much hassle. Don't use like the end of your steering rack to hold the wheel in place, or the steering lock really. So don't turn your wheel all the way left and then push it against the end of the rack, because you can damage the rack and then you'll be in for thousands and thousands to fix that potentially. So yeah, best thing to do, impact gun on here. Get this off straight away, and make sure that we mark the steering column here and mark on the steering wheel with a permanent marker or Tip-X or something like that, and then you can get it back on exactly in the right place again, nice and straight. And there we go, as if by magic, the wheel is off. If this is a bit stuck, so really take that bolt out of the middle, and you can see here that I've marked the wheel, and I've marked there on the steering column, so I know exactly where to put it back on. If the wheel has been a bit of a pig to get off, just tap it on the back of the wheel and eventually it will just come loose. What you need to do, obviously when you take it off, thread these carefully through, feed the wheel off. This you need to keep in place here. So I'm going to tape this now. Also, you need to be really careful of these pins here, because this part is a couple of £100 really if you break it. So you don't need to take it off when you're working around here, but I would be really careful of it. Okay, the sun's going down now, but we're just going to get this finished up quickly. I'm going to show you what I've done with the wiring. Didn't want to film that because it was a bit fiddly and quite frankly a bit dull, but I'll show you now I've done it, and obviously you can do the same. You can see in here what we've done is I have taped the new connector here to the larger old connector so that keeps it together, and we've threaded, let's have a look in here, there we go, you can see we've threaded the new cable back through there, and it pops up here on the top next to the connector for the instrument cluster. Just make sure that when you're in here you avoid any moving parts. This column obviously comes in and out like that, and then we've pinned these up here as the this is helpfully marked. We're looking for pin 1, 4 and 17, and it's marked on the connector. I don't know if you can see, probably not. On the very ends here it says which number to follow along the back, so you get it in the right place. Make sure you get it in the right one, because getting them out is fiddly as. And then we're just going to pop this cover back on the connector there. We're going to connect the two new connectors and put this back on the steering column. Okay, as you can see, we've got this mounted again. What you need to do is make sure there's this is level. Pop your little rubber covers on. It's easy to do this now. You can see I've made an extra cut in it for this one. Then we're going to pop this back on, bolt that on, get the covers put back together on this, and get the steering wheel popped back on. Okay, what you missed there was I got the whole wheel back on, and I hadn't quite got the cables in the black surround here lined up properly. So there's a couple of tabs on either side of the wheel that hold the cables in place, and they've got like fins like this that sit into this black surround piece. So when that moves back and forward with the wheel, all the cables stay in place. I hadn't quite got that sorted, so I was getting cables squashed and the wheel wouldn't move properly, and so I had to take the whole thing off again. So maybe don't do that. Test it just by loosely putting the nut on like I've done here, and then you can see if the wheel moves. If it doesn't go like properly, then don't force it, because you're going to break some plastic stuff in there and that won't be fun. Now we've got it back on, we're going to tighten this to about 33 foot-pounds. Again, it's a bit tricky, but you can just about do it by holding onto the wheel here and tightening it up at the same time. Okay, we thought we were all done, but there's a small problem here. Let me see if I can show you. What we've got here is the switch for the hazard lights. It only goes in one way. We just slide it in here, and when we do, get it lined up. As soon as it goes in, we get the hazard lights on. Doesn't matter what I do. No, doesn't want to work. And also, using the indicator appears to do absolutely nothing, which is exciting, because that means that in here somewhere I have connected something wrong or short-circuited something. Something like that is almost certainly happening, which means this whole wheel's got to come off, all the dash got to come out, and I've got to check all the connections that I did in there, and that was a pain in the backside. Anyway, I'll get to it, and then we'll catch up once I've discovered the problem. Okay, just wanted to do a little clip today to catch you up on what's happening with the cruise control here in the Porsche. It's not been going perfectly well. Oh, there's another car coming past, obviously, all the time. There we go. Anyway, it's not been going that well. We got everything in, and then what happened was my indicators didn't work for some reason. Don't know why. Could be anything. Could be that the stalk is faulty. Could be a fuse problem. We're just trying to check it out now. But I mean, it was a new stalk, so that shouldn't be an issue. So, wow. Let's see if we can get it done. I've got to get it done today because 9 o'clock tomorrow, I've got to be at Mark 21 to get the cruise control activated. So, wish me luck. Okay, going to show you a little bit about what's going on here. So, as you can see, I've taken this all apart again because I thought I'd done something crazy in this mess of wires here. But pretty much everything works. I know the washers work. I know the computer here works. This computer stalk, you can see it changing stuff. But we still don't have any indicators, annoyingly. Okay, so top tip, try the easiest thing first. Before you do this with everything, take it all apart. Before you take it all apart, check the simple things. As you can see, this is the trim back on the outside of the hazard switch, and you can see there that it's sticking out. And if I press it in, it doesn't stay in. So the reason the hazard lights are on is because the switch is telling them to always be on. So the switch is faulty. Okay, we've solved it. And do you want to know what solved it? Like a penny's worth of masking tape. But at least that will get me to the shop tomorrow, and then we'll just have to order another one of these and plug it in, and it just goes in the face of the dash. So it's a 2-second job to swap this over, and it's about $10, so easy peasy. Now what I've got to do is put that crap back together again. I didn't need to take it apart. So I've been out here for 2 hours for no reason at all. Okay, as you can see, it's getting a bit dark now, and I'm really wrestling with getting this airbag back in. I've got it seated, but I can't get the bolts in. There's always something. Okay, it's 7 AM. We're just heading out now to go and get the cruise control done. Hopefully on the way back, it'll all be sorted. Okay, so that's it. It's it's gone 4 o'clock, and we were supposed to get out of here at something like 10 AM. So we're now 6 hours later, and we've only just solved the problem with the cruise control in Pepper, the 996. And as it turned out, it was the tiniest little metal contact that was in one of the tail lights that basically stopped the whole entire Enterprise from working for 6 hours longer than it should have taken. And the only reason we found it in the end was because on one of the test drives, as one of the techs pulled it out of the workshop, as he braked, we noticed one of the front side lights was coming on for no apparent reason. So obviously it was on braking. We checked in the rear where the brake light fitting is, and obviously we found this tiny little piece, like honestly 5mm by 5mm, tiny piece of metal that had come off, and it was shorting 2 contacts, and because of that short, the cruise control was not activating. And I've probably had that for ages and never noticed, because I mean, why would you? This car's old enough that it doesn't tell you when stuff like that's broken. So that took 6 hours extra to get that done. And I can't say a big thank you, can't say a big enough thank you to the guys there at Mark 21, because they persevered when I think a lot of other places would have just, you know, put their hands up and said, look, can't do it, and it would have been a bit of a waste of a day for everybody. But they persevered, and so, you know, really, really thankful for them. If you've got a Porsche and you want to take it somewhere specialist, then those are the guys, Mark 21, and they're over in Bridport in Dorset here in the UK. If you also have a Lotus, they've got a lot of Lotus things going on there as well, quite a few. So they specialise in both of those. And like I said, thanks very much, guys, for getting that sorted out. I'll pop their contact details down below in case any of you need some help with this sort of thing as well. But for now, it's time to get back on the road, and we're going to get home. Probably won't be able to use the cruise control that much, because from here to mine it's basically just country lanes. So we're going to hear that exhaust with the windows down, have a bit of fun, and we'll use that cruise control another day on the motorway or something boring like that, I don't know. But anyway, if we have helped you out with this video, if it's something that you're going to do and you found this useful, or you found it entertaining, that it was such a pain in the backside, then you know what to do. Like and subscribe down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Here it is, the magic cruise control light. That's all you get.